Hello, this is Wmpyr. I just watched a video, world famous self-defense instructor. I am not happy with what I saw, so I'm going to try to help you guys. I am not going to name names because I'm not here to argue or fight with a person, but I am here to help you guys because I feel like they're what they're doing is mostly based off of the more fearful and insecure you are, the more money they make because you're going to go to them for self-defense advice. And what they're teaching, it doesn't make sense to me. There's some big holes in what they're teaching. I would even say misinformation. Misinformation sounds like they know what they're doing, but they're teaching you incorrectly on purpose. I don't think that's what it is. I think they just don't know. Okay, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about the straight blast technique. Okay, so the straight blast technique, what they said that really bothered me is they're saying that it's a speed thing, that it's not about hitting hard. You don't need to hit hard. Okay, and they're gonna say stuff like you don't need to hit hard because if you do, you're gonna break your hands. In the sport, you're trying to knock somebody out, so you need to hit hard, but this is self-defense. This is the street. This is not sport. Therefore, your goal is not to knock somebody out. And that sounds great, right? They're saying stuff that people want to hear. They go, oh, okay, so I don't need to do MMA because sport, somewhere in the back of our minds, we know boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai kickboxing, MMA, that's all. Sport is like, you got to be an athlete. That's a lot of work. That's hard work. I don't want to do that. And they're feeding off of those kinds of things. And it's slick. But it's very sad to me. I'm going to say the opposite. Okay. What you need for your straight blast to work in a self-defense situation is the opposite of what they said. You need power. You need strength. You need it. I'm not going to say speed comes first. No, it doesn't. Okay, so I put myself in a position where I'm saying the opposite of what they're saying. Why am I saying this? The reason is in long range, the characteristics of long range, meaning I'm out of their reach and they're out of my reach, chances are, right? Unless one of us is way, way, way taller or something. If we're relatively around the same height, if I could reach them, chances are they could reach me. Long range means they can't reach me. So chances are I can't reach them either. So in that situation, speed is important because you got to get to them. And who can get to who, the ability, the mobility becomes very important in that sense. And not just that, camouflaging your attacks, feints, fakes, those are important because you have time to see each other's stuff because of the distance. But when we're talking about the straight blast is when you can reach the other person. You're hitting them. But if you can hit them, chances are they can hit you back, okay, because you're both in reach, all right? So when you are in reach, in each other's range, then speed is not the most important thing in that range, which is medium range. In medium range, what is important, what is incredibly important, is who could damage the other person first. Who can cause damage first? That is what's important. Perfect example of medium range. So long range, I would say, is think more like Muhammad Ali. He moves around, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Okay, so that's long range. Okay, people call it outboxing, right? So medium range to me is more like inboxing. This is Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is power. It's power, explosive power. It's speed plus strength. That's the definition of power. That's what he has. So is it just speed? No. You got to hit hard. You got to cause damage. That is what medium range is about. And another thing is the famous bouncer, the UK bouncer, Geoff Thompson, he says, you know, in a fight, in a street fight, what he observed, it's the person that throws the first punch. Probably because when two guys are throwing haymakers, whoever lands it first. So the haymaker is a powerful punch. So whoever lands that first gets the advantage. I'm pretty sure that's what he meant by that, okay? So that's what I'm saying here too. So in a street, okay, yes, not sport, in a street, there's no weight class. This person didn't come here to challenge you. This person came to take advantage of you. Meaning, they scanned you, they looked at you, and they thought, this is going to make a good victim. Because they know they're bigger, stronger, and meaner than you are. So chances are that's what they picked, is knowing that they have a physical advantage over you. When it just came down to raw fighting, that they're coming out on top. So they chose you. So in that kind of situation, it becomes even more critical that you hit as hard as you can, because they're going to be bigger, stronger, and meaner. So if you're just using speed, and if they just take it and land once, I don't care if you hit them 4, 5, 6 times, but they hit you once, you're going down, you're in trouble. Okay, so what they do say is that you need to stun the opponent, to mentally shut them down. In order for that to happen, in order for them to freeze up in time, you have to hit them that hard. You do. Because if you just hit them and it doesn't do anything, what's stopping them from taking your hit and coming back at you? Nothing. And they will. If they're seasoned, a beginner would, boom, oh, I got hit. Oh my gosh, that was a punch. Someone who's more seasoned, bam, they don't care. You hit them, they hit you back. They're used to fighting like that, okay? So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. And this probably another good thing is for you guys to think about. Bruce Lee, I know he's known for speed, but if you really think about it, it wasn't his speed. Bruce Lee is power. Okay, the way I define power is speed plus strength. In other words, he was explosive. He did a tremendous amount of strength training. He was innovative in his strength training methods. All right, I'm not saying he wasn't fast. I'm sure he was lightning fast. And I think his personality also made him a very quick type of fast person. But he was speed plus strength. When I talk to people who their instructors sparred Bruce Lee back in the day, they say, yeah, he was fast, but they say he wasn't maybe as fast as you might think. Okay? There were other qualities about him. It wasn't just, oh my goodness, this guy was incredibly lightning, the fastest person on the planet. That's not what he was about. Okay. Interview with Professor Danny Nosanto, he says that Bruce Lee was more of a slugger when it came down to it. More of like a Rocky Marciano. Okay. Slugger is not speed. So think about that. Okay. Just saying, that's the founder of Jeet Kune Do. Sifu Paul Vunak says that the best example of the straight blast being used in MMA is Vitor Belfort versus Vanderlei Silva. If you watch that match, don't tell me it's all speed. Look at the way Vitor's putting his body behind it. There's a lot of power going on. Look at Vitor's physique. Look at his body mechanics. It's power. It's power. There's no way it's just speed. Okay, so I'm just hearing some incredible stuff that just doesn't make sense to me. And what I teach is that, you know, chances are, because if you're like me, a normal person, and someone who weighs 200 pound plus decides to make me into a victim, there's just, yes, I'm going to try to hit them. If I need to, I'll try to hit them as hard as I can if that's the tactic that I'm using, which I don't, but let's say that was. there's only so much power I can generate, and a 200-pound plus person, there's limits. I may not be able to knock him out or hurt him significantly. It's so much easier for them to hurt me. It takes way less effort. So to play that game kind of doesn't make sense to me. So that's why, I study Filipino martial arts, and I really, really like Filipino martial arts for the street, because weapons become a great equalizer in that sense. Like I said, there's only so much that I could do physically, to go toe-to-toe with someone that is going to be bigger, stronger, and meaner. But anyway, just want you guys to think about this, okay? Because there is a lot of crazy stuff that I'm seeing on YouTube. Just even last night, I saw a video where a guy was talking about kind of similar stuff. Strength, speed, this kind of stuff. You don't need it in a self-defense situation. Stamina. So strength, speed, and stamina. He says you don't need it for self-defense. And I'm like, the only guy I could think of that said that in memory was Tank Abbott. Not the speed and strength. He said stamina. He said you don't. He said, did he say something? I want to say he said something like that you don't need that. Tank, whatever he says, okay, you got to realize that guy's a super athlete. All right? People go, oh, he's just a brawler. He is an athlete first, okay, that also can brawl, that is also a tough guy, is also all those other things. But the guy's an athlete, a super athlete. The guy bench pressed like over 500 pounds, on like one of his UFC fights. I don't remember which one. Was it the one where he was going to fight Chemo? I don't remember. The guy was benching like 500 pounds plus, okay? And then there was one video where he benched like 600 pounds. Bad form, people criticize, whatever. Can you do it in bad form? So, super athlete, okay? So don't let that fool you. Don't think, oh, he's just a brawler. No. The guy worked out with wrestlers, boxers. He's been in and out of the gyms. He's, super athlete, okay? He's a small percentage of the population. So think of what Karl Gotch said, okay? And this is for military combatives. I want you guys to think, and that's what I base my self-defense out of, is military combatives, okay? Karl Gotch, legendary catch wrestler, he said this. I love this quote. So anyone that says to you, in a street situation, in a self-defense situation, you don't need to train like these sport athletes, BS, okay? That is BS. Karl Gotch said this. He said, in the military, where they kill with guns and grenades, what is the first thing that you do? Conditioning. Conditioning, okay? It is important. It's the first thing that comes in. It's conditioning. Now, another thing, when you look at, you have your soldiers, all kinds of different soldiers, infantry, whatever, all kinds of different soldiers. Who's the elite soldier? And this is my own quote, whatever. It's not even a quote, but I'm just saying my own logic. Who is the elite? Special forces, right? Whether it's Navy SEALs, Delta Force, Green Beret, whatever. Special forces are elite, right? Do you think, compared to the average, let's say, infantry, the average soldier versus special forces, do you think the special forces guys, on par, because there's always exceptions, there's individuals that stand out, but I'm saying on par, who has more stamina, who has more physical attributes? Special forces training is known for how difficult their conditioning is, their wipeout, weed out program, Hell Week and all that. So even those guys, the elite, they value conditioning. Okay, so to hear stuff like strength is not important in self-defense, stamina is not important in self-defense. No, look, you don't want to play strength versus strength, because like I said, they're going to be bigger, stronger, meaner. I don't want to play who's faster. I don't want to play the speed game. I've been telling you guys that. I don't want to play who has more cardio, who could go longer. I don't want to play any of those things, okay? So my strategy is not to do that. However, it is my personal responsibility to be as fit as I can. Why? Because it's going to help me do what I do better. My strategies, my tactics. It's not about putting up who's stronger, but my strength is going to help me in what I do. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. That's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.